Melvin.
Hello, family. My name is Melvin B., and I am an alcoholic. And I always like to give thanks to that creative intelligence in the universe for being alive one more day. You know, lungs still sucking in a little bit of air, heart still pumping a little bit, and when I'm not in too much pain taking the medication, I can kind of get around a little bit. And second, for the gift of sobriety. And I need to let you know that sobriety is a gift with Melvin, and I didn't do anything to earn it. See, because to tell you the honest, to goodness truth, but for the grace of God. See, because Melvin didn't want to get sober. Melvin had no intentions on getting sober, and I can't tell you today how I got sober other than God. You know, they say we should share in a general way what we were like, what happened to us, and what we are like today. Oftentimes I hear from podiums what it was like, and I can't tell you nothing about it. It was that little hairy thing that ran around on Adam's Family. I can tell you what Melvin is like, I can tell you what happened to Melvin, and I can tell you what Melvin is like today. You know, in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it talks about people of my type that once I take a drink, no matter how much, no matter what brand, I undergo a psychic change. And when I first found that out, I asked myself, did I ever experience anything like that? And what it took me back to was 1962 when I took that first drink. You know, I remember it was a can. I liked the color of that can. I liked the design on that can. That can was just made to fit my hand. And I just liked it. And that was a Rainier Ale. You know, and you people that were born, you know, in the late 70s and the early 80s and stuff like that, you know, when y'all talk about cold drinks and cold beers and stuff like that, you go, psh, you know, that pop-top stuff? No. In 1962, you had to have what we call a church key. You know, you guys might call them can openers. And I can remember getting that beer. And I can remember going behind the garage, and I was my father's son, you know, and in his own way, he loved me. I'm Junior. And I always had that Inspector Gadget kind of stuff, you know, that Swiss Army knife. And I got that beer, and I went behind the garage, you know, and I opened it up, and I began to start drinking. And when I began to start drinking, I began to feel different. I began to feel warm all inside. You know, something happened to me. That was that psychic change. And as a result of that, I felt a whole lot better. I didn't have that low self-esteem, you know, because nowadays, what I hear is baby mama, baby daddy, and things like that. But when I was growing up, a child that was produced out of wedlock, which means that your mother and your father weren't married, you were called bastard. And for a lot of years, I thought that was my name. Because that's what everybody in the family called me. But they made a mistake. You know, they started teaching me the 1, 2, 3s and the ABCs and stuff like that. And then they told me if I had a problem with a word, look it up in the dictionary. And one day I figured out how to spell that word. And when I looked it up in the dictionary, I was a very, very angry child. You know, I don't see it too much today, but back in the 50s and the 60s, women had those little porcelain things and crystal stuff, them little whatnots they would put all over the house. I was that little bad kid that would run through your house and sling my arm and tear up all of your stuff because I was mad at you for calling me bastard. You know, I'm not from the greater Los Angeles area. I need to let you know that. I'm from Watts. See, and when our relatives would come to visit us, you know, they would always say, I ain't coming back to Watts no more because I always get a flat tire because I'd let you get in the house and they begin to socialize and drink and stuff like that. And I go get me a butcher knife. And when you get ready to go outside, I done laid you low. You know? That's right. You know, but I can remember undergoing that psychic change, though. I drank and I got warm all inside. And I could do that James Brown just a little bit better than everybody else, you know? And I was always that kind of kid, if you dared me to jump off the garage, I'd do a double backflip and land on my feet just to let you know who I was. And the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it talks about people of my type getting progressively worse. And I can remember getting progressively worse. Because after a period of time, that Rainier Ale just didn't cut it. You know, and it was time to go bail out Shorty. You know, and I went from that to even more and even more. And the effect produced by it, I liked. You know, I don't know about you. I didn't drink for the taste. You know, because it ain't no kind of way you could convince me that Old English 800 tastes good. But for sure, I got the effect that I was looking for. Huh? There ain't no way you could convince me that Seagram's gin tastes good. But I sure got the effect that I was looking for. You know, I ended up in the United States Navy. And actually, you know, I feel I should have been the poster boy for the Navy because I was a 4-0 squared away sailor. But while I was in the Navy, I made all Navy boxing team. And because we used the FPO, Federal Post Office, they would let me go into New York and fight Golden Glove. And I got so good at what I was doing, I'm on my way to Madison Square Garden to go fight in the New York State Golden Glove Championships. And guess what? One more time, that ugly monster, that alcoholism showed up. They sent me up to New York to get used to the change of the environment. And when I did, they put me in the ring with this guy, and I put him on his butt cheeks twice in one round. And they pulled their boy up out the ring with me because they didn't want me to hurt him. He went on to be light heavyweight and heavyweight champion of the world. His name was Michael Spinks. I put him on his butt cheeks. I go back down to Puerto Rico. I'm training. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. And the night before I was supposed to catch the flight, I went down to the enlisted men's club, but I left early. I left at 9 o'clock. And one more time, that monster showed his face. I took the taxi back to the barracks. I got off at the taxi stand. I got a choice. And we alcoholics, we know about choices, right? I could walk 3/4 of a mile up the hill, or I could take the shortcut through the bushes. And I guess you know which way I took. Now, if I had just made it to my bed, no matter what, they would have drugged me to that plane and put me on it. I went to sleep in the bushes. The captain of that base had bet money on me, the admiral had bet money on me, and everybody else had bet money on me, and they was real hot with me. They sent me to alcohol rehab in Meridian, Mississippi. And what the doctor did, he put me on a medication called Anabuse. And when he gave me that Anabuse, he told me that it would produce the same effects almost as a woman going through labor pains. And 3 days later, I found out. And after they detoxed me, they pump that charcoal in me and do all the stuff that they do, the doctor said double the dose of the medication and we won't have to worry about him. And 2 days later, they was pumping me out again. The doctor said, send him back. And the reason why I put that out there, because when you read more about alcoholism, it says that modern medicine has not come up with a cure. One more time, I can raise my hand because it didn't cure me. I don't know about you. See, because I'm an alcoholic. I drink no matter what. You know, I'm going to share this with you and I'm going to sit down. After the meeting, if you see me in the parking lot over there and I'm beating somebody down, that does not mean that this 12-step process does not work. What it means is I lost contact with God. Huh? If you see me over there at the liquor store and I got a 40 in my hand, that does not mean that this 12-step process does not work. It means I lost contact with God. When you get ready to leave this meeting, if you make a decision to put anything in your body that's not supposed to be in it or not prescribed, please get in contact with God. My name is Melvin. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you so much. It's now time for our treasurer.